Lesson 70. May, might, palace, parliament. What do the words may and might express?
The words may and might express the idea of perhaps.
What's the difference between may and might?
The difference between may and might is that we cannot use may in the second conditional.
Give me an example.
If I went to London, I might visit Buckingham Palace.
Do you think it may rain later?
Yes, I think it may rain later.
What do you think I might have in my pocket?
I think you might have some money in your pocket.
What might happen if you didn't look both ways before crossing the road?
An accident might happen if I didn't look both ways before crossing the road.
What might you see if you went to London?
I might see Buckingham Palace, the Houses of Parliament, Trafalgar Square, Piccadilly Circus, etc. if I went to London.
Do you think there might be another world war?
No, I don't think there'll be another world war.
Arrive at. Point. Arrive in. Area. Airport. Passport. What's the difference between arrive at and arrive in?
The difference between arrive at and arrive in is that we arrive at a point, whereas we arrive in an area.
What time do you arrive at school?
I arrive at school at 11 o'clock.
If you arrived at a foreign airport without your passport, what might happen?
If I arrived at a foreign airport without my passport, I might not be able to enter the country.
Cafe. What is a cafe?
A cafe is a small informal restaurant where you can get light meals, snacks and drinks.
Oh. Do you owe me any money?
Yes, I owe you some money.
Do I owe you any money?
No, you don't owe me any money.
Verb plus back. Souvenir. What does it mean to give back?
To give back means to return.
When you go on holiday, what do you bring back with you?
When I go on holiday, I bring back souvenirs with me.
Are you going to go back home immediately after the lessons ended?
Yes, I'm going to go back home immediately after the lessons ended.
When people lend you money, do you always pay it back when promised?
Yes, when people lend me money, I always pay it back when promised.
Do you know anybody who has retired but then later gone back to work?
Yes, I know somebody who has retired but then later gone back to work.
Pride. Proud. Normal. Normally. Take pride in. What is your normal breakfast?
My normal breakfast is coffee and bread.
Do people normally feel proud when they do well in exams?
Yes, people normally feel proud when they do well in exams.
Do you take pride in your work?
Yes, I take pride in my work.
Servant. If you were very rich, would you have servants in your house?
No, if I were very rich, I wouldn't have servants in my house.
Wheel. Lorry. Does a lorry have fewer wheels than a car?
No, a lorry doesn't have fewer wheels than a car, it has more wheels.
Arrow. Centimetre. Metre. About how long is an arrow?
An arrow is about a metre long.
How many centimetres make a metre?
100 centimetres make a metre.
Beard. Do you know anybody who has a long beard?
Yes, I know somebody who has a long beard.
True. False. Paper. Newspaper. Is it false that the opposite of heaven is hell?
No, it isn't false that the opposite of heaven is hell, it's true.
Is everything we read in the newspapers true?
No, not everything we read in the newspapers is true. Some things are true and some things are false.
Why do you think this is so?
I think maybe it's because newspapers haven't always got time to make sure that what they write is completely true.
Maintain. Is it cheap to maintain a large house?
No, it isn't cheap to maintain a large house. It's expensive.
It takes. Ireland. How do we translate the words it takes?
We translate the words it takes with
How long does it take you to go home from here?
It takes me about an hour to go home from here.
Does it take longer to fly from here to Ireland than to go by train and ship?
No, it doesn't take longer to fly from here to Ireland than to go by train and ship. It takes less time.
About how long would it take us to reach the station from here if we walked very fast?
It'd take us about 5 minutes to reach the station from here if we walked very fast.
Amount. Amount to. What amount of money have you got in your pocket at the moment?
I've got about £5 in my pocket at the moment.
Do they use a large amount of wood in building houses in this region?
No, they don't use a large amount of wood in building houses in this region.
Why not?
Because it's expensive.
What do £50 and £13 amount to?
£50 and £13 amount to £63.
Further. Sweden. In addition. Extra. What does the word further mean?
The word further means the same as farther, but it also means in addition or extra.
Which is further from Spain, Sweden or Switzerland?
Sweden is further from Spain than Switzerland.
What's the furthest you've ever been?
The furthest I've ever been is from England to Japan.
Where do you have to go if you wanted further information about train times at a station?
I'd have to go to the information office if I wanted further information about train times at a station.
Give me a further example of the word further, please.
If I failed an exam, I'd have to take further lessons.